Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, both representatives of financial institutions that are here today. We appreciate your comments. Your comments do differ greatly with the figures that have been provided to us. So I'm going to ask you some pointed questions about how you're arriving at your numbers. The numbers we see coming out, and predicated on the fact that, of course, there is this issue since 2021 with the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region saying that people leaving Hong Kong on a British national overseas passport were not eligible to have their mandatory provident fund schemes deposits taken with them. Has your policy changed since 2021? I'll ask Madam Hewitt first of all, please.
Madam Hewitt, go ahead.
So there are very clear criteria articulated for the early departure, as I outlined in my opening remarks, which includes evidence of the ability to permanently depart or indefinitely depart Hong Kong. And that has been true since before 2021, and it remains true today. And I think that our numbers, including, as I shared, the 97.5% approval rate for applications and the approval of all eligible Canadians and Canadian permanent residents, shows that we continue to give access to those funds for those who are eligible for the early departure stream.
Remember.
Well, thank you, and I respect that you're the trustee for these individuals, not for any government. The data we see is that 90% of and your two firms are the most stringent about turning down the actual applications that come in through the British Nationals Overseas Passport, and that you turn down about 90% of them in that respect. But the reason you turn down it and recognized when you decline it is that the BNO visa is not recognized as a valid document. Is that the case why you're turning it down? Because it does differ strongly with the numbers you presented, Mrs. Hewitt.
Madam Hewitt.
Yes, so as my numbers shared, we are approving all eligible Canadian permanent residents and Canadian citizens. The BNO passport is not sufficient proof of ability to permanently reside outside of Hong Kong, but once those folks have their eligible documentation in terms of permanent residency and or citizenship, whether that be for Canada or in another jurisdiction, then as our record shows, we will approve those applications as soon as they meet the eligibility.
Okay, thank you. So they're not eligible if they come to Canada on a BNO passport. Even after they gain permanent residency in Canada, are they then eligible even though they came over on a BNO passport?
Madam Hewitt.
Yes, so they are eligible once they have permanent residency, Canadian permanent residency, and as our numbers have shown, we are approving all of those applications. The two examples that I shared of Canadian permanent residents who have been declined by Sunlife since 2021 was for missing or incomplete paperwork, and those folks are able to reapply. We've actually had instances.
Thank you. Well, our information shows that when Hong Kongers come over to Canada on the BNO passport and then become permanent residents in Canada, that they're still indicated on their permanent residency card that they came over on the BNO, and then they're actually turned down to move over the funds that are provided from the mandatory provident fund. Is that correct?
Madam Hewitt.
So I can just speak on behalf of Sunlife. The permanent residency is sufficient proof of ability to permanently depart, and so we are approving those applications regardless of which passport they are using. We proactively ask them for their Hong Kong ID cards, and we will continue to approve those applications.
Honourable Member.
Can I ask the same question to Ms. Greenwood, please? Ms. Greenwood, do you hold back any of the funds allocated because of it comes in through the BNO passport before the person is a Canadian permanent resident?
Ms. Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thank the member for the question, and the answer is we do not decline to process an application for reasons of the BNO visa or passport. That is not one of the reasons. The issue really is whether or not an individual has the right to permanently reside in Canada or elsewhere. And so permanent residency evidence, citizenship, that is what is they are able to use in support of their application for the early withdrawal of their MPF pension fund.
Honourable Member.
Well, thank you. We do have a great discrepancy of information here because according to the information we're provided by the researchers at one of the Hong Kong Watch, it shows that your two companies, Canadian companies with subsidiaries in Hong Kong, are sitting in about 3.7 billion Canadian dollars worth of pension assets that belong to Hong Kongers, some of whom are discouraged to apply because of the record, what we see sometimes is a 90% decline rate in this. So you're saying that the numbers you have are far different than the numbers were being provided by research organizations.
Who's your question to, Mr.?
I'll go to Ms. Hewitt first of all.
Please go ahead, Madam Hewitt.
Yes, so again, I'd like to confirm that we are approving those applications. And so for those individuals that are eligible, we hope that our numbers today give them comfort and assure the committee that we are approving eligible applications. And,
Well,
and
just hold on. You keep saying eligible. Yeah.
At a time.
You keep saying
If you
eligible.
raise your hand, I will manage that.
Yeah. Madam
Member.
Madam Hewitt, you keep saying eligible, and
Yes.
it seems like it's a. If you don't mind me saying so, I'm thinking it might be a crutch about eligible, but to be eligible, you're only 10% are actually eligible. But you know, so I'm trying to square the numbers between you've given and what we've been provided previously.
Time is up, Madam Hewitt. Quick answer, please.
Yes, so those who are eligible, I'm just referring to the criteria for proof of early permanent departure. So are you able to permanently reside outside of Canada? A Canadian Permanent Residency card or Canadian citizenship are both examples of eligibility. And so just to confirm, we have approved 97.5% of all applications, including all Canadians with the exception of those two that I mentioned who had incorrectly completed paperwork.
Thank you very much.